Next bit of action on the track, the women's 5,000 metres, and just wait for the roar when the home favourite is introduced. Bove, Denmark right on the outside. This is Kaune of Latvia. Want to watch in this one, personal best of 15 minutes, .48. Flying through the introductions of the athletes. This is one that's very much like the Javelin. We may see a fair bit of variety in the personal best, the spread between the athletes. You can see the water table just over the shoulder of Nasatal. Belgium, represented by Jana van Lent, one of the favourites for this one. Flanagan going for Ireland. And there is Clara Lukan. And you can see how much competing on home soil means to her. That's one of the biggest smiles I think we've had of the day. What the last couple of years she's had. 2019 European Under-20 champion. Since then, two-time Olympian. Setting 5,000, 5K, 10K national records this year. Crouched right down. And well, this race, you imagine, will be the race that she controls, but she will have Jana van Lent glued to her and watching her every move. Van Lent having a huge amount of variety to the results and the distances she's run this season. The European 10,000 metre cup winner this year. Lukan just tucked in behind in that bright green of Slovenia. Fifth at the inaugural European Road Running Championships. Van Lent on home soil, over 10,000 metres on the road. Really entertaining event, the first time that European athletics have hosted such an event. And you can already see how this field is split. Five of the athletes taking the gap, the leap onto the back of the Slovenian, and Van Lent setting the early pace. Be surprised to see the likes of Kaune trying to move her way up onto the back of this pack of five. She won't want to see them get too far out of her reach, the Latvian. Over a minute behind her personal best this season. No surprise to see this race split so early on. With those competing being well aware of the heat and the conditions that they're going out in. Maybe Kablan of Israel desperately trying to bridge the gap. She's the only one who has gone from the group behind. Get across, opening up again, and gaps in that first pack of five. Van Lent and Lukan, the only two. And we're willing really to take this out from the start. You can see the water tables there. There was conversations between the delegation and the local organising committee here to ensure that they have the right fluids to compete in these conditions.
Medal mice are watching on as Angelina Topic goes here. 191 for the young Serbian, and she does go over this time. Yes, I did mention that at recent meeting in Greece, she looked out of sorts a little bit, but was able to gather her composure and make it over then. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, given the heat, to see this breakup of athletes, but maybe they're waiting for their chance, you know, late in the second day, really keen to crack on with things and eager to get out there and produce a decent pace. 3:02 for the opening kilometre. So what's that, 15:10 sort of pace?
Yep, not hanging around at all. Clara Lukan and Jana van Lent. Well, it's always interesting, isn't it, Alex, as you say, sometimes, you know, seeing this split, I think the athletes are aware of the disparity of the personal best. I think surprising who maybe hasn't made the move, and I've already mentioned Kaune, who you'd expect to be up there with the front group. Not at the moment, as we cut back to the Javelin.
Yeah, we'll just break away for a brief moment, because this is our leader in the javelin, even though we're just in the second round now. Still, small margin off his personal best, just a few centimetres, but bringing his best when it matters, especially given today hasn't matched up to what the likes of Patrick Domota, Matis Bilstak and Emma Zaplatalova did. They all took 16 points for Slovakia, to put them in a very strong position overnight. But they've been pushed down the order. It's been Slovenia instead into the top 3, and they should get top points. But if Belgium aren't first, the story has been that they've been somewhere near the sharp end, Ellen.
Yep, and of course at the top end again here, Belgium with Jan van Lent as they go through 1,400. It's 4 minutes 15 for Van Lent and Lukan. Nothing separating those two, and then just around 10 seconds back is the next pack that has become now a group of 5. The group does include Takane, Flanagan, Nordlund, Takie as well, and Olivier Javelin, who was one of the ones who was really desperate to bridge the gap.
Medal mass once again, another clearance, so up by 2 centimetre increments now, as you can see, and she equals her personal best. Well, fantastic performance from a young Belgian who maybe hasn't hit as many headlines as Angelina Topic, but they were both on the podium together at the 2022 European Under-18 Championships.
Just past the 1,700 metre mark for a mile in around 4:53, the leading 2. And an indicator of just how little is separating them. 7 seconds back. The gap is closing slightly, ever so slightly. They've eaten about a second and a half into the advantage that Clara Lukan and Tiana van Lent had, and it is now Clara Lukan with that bright red hair who is leading the charge. Such a great athlete to watch compete. I was watching her in the flesh at the night of the 10K PBs in London, where she set a personal best for 10,000 metres. And she's one that hasn't really rushed up the distances. She's known where her capabilities are, know where she wants to push and where she wants to develop. And we spoke earlier, Alex, about young athletes who you see rise through the ranks, and you feel that real sense of pride when you see them step up and do so well. And Clara Lukan, for many, is one of those who has worked really hard over the years. Always has so much pride when pulling on the Slovenian colours, and always excels when she does so.
Yeah, I'm sure she would have bookmarked this in her calendar quite some time ago, when, of course, the host name was given, Slovenia hosting one of the divisions of the European Cup in 2003 in Velenia. But that's how long it's been since this sort of calibre of event, the international championship, has been in this country. I also mentioned the European Under-20s in 1997 as well. Most of these athletes weren't born. Pettersen of Denmark, another who doesn't really attack that line, but he's still going well at this point. He was in second place earlier, but this is another good effort. So, yeah, close to 80 metres, closer than anyone else has got so far. 78.22 for the Danish athletes. Angelina Topic has to wait for the 5,000 metre runners to clear her path. An athlete who's just 19 years of age, already twice a European senior medalist. Just assessing this bar at 193, carrying one failure at this height since last time we looked, but we know that Medal Mice is over it. So Topic at 93 here, and does get over it. So both she and the Belgian have achieved this height. Kulichenko, we didn't see it, but she went out after 3 failures at 191.
Well, they're flying towards the 3,000 metre mark. This is the rankings at 2,700. They went through halfway. at 7 minutes 41. It just seems, it's ever so slightly, but it does seem like Lukan, as we see that camera angle just roll around, and it gives a much better impression of the distance that she's put between her and Jana van Lent, and it is getting bigger and bigger. Without really, it looks like she's working for it. She just glides along, Clara Lukan, 5th at the European Championships in Rome. Lots of experience at these championships, winning the 3,000 metres in the second league and the team championships in 2021. This time on home soil. Just looks so relaxed, doesn't she, as she pulls away more and more. That's 3,000 metres they've gone through in 9 minutes 12, and now a 3-second gap between her, almost 4 seconds between her and Jana van Lent. This is the pack behind that includes Agatha Kane, Oisin Flanagan of Ireland, and it is the Irish woman and the Latvian who are side by side right at the front of this pack. But look at the distance between them and the Slovenian. So strong. And back to the leader in the men's triple jump, setting a new personal best in the second round, and not to be in the third round of efforts, but comfortably out front, so he shouldn't need to worry so far. News from that men's triple jump is that Henrik Flotnes, who we saw yesterday in the men's long jump, has retired with a best in the second round of 15.91, which sees him at the moment in third, but is there for the taking if anyone can step up.
Doriava, who is in third, but still with a chance of stepping up higher. We've seen that one effort go pretty close to 80 metres, distance measured at 78.22 in the end. Mihalets with that personal best for second place, but the gap 1.5 metres now. And then Doriava, no improvement for him, remains in third place.
Well, we're now seeing athletes starting to be lapped by Clara Lukan. As she goes through the 3,600 metre mark, and well, this is the kind of disparity that I'm talking about. And just look at the way she's moving. It is really tough conditions out there. It's still exceptionally warm. It's been well above 30 degrees for most of the day here in Maribor. She's used to training in these temperatures, these conditions, and has the advantage of that home crowd roaring her on, particularly on this part of the track where they're up against the barriers down the home straight.
Merelmas now going for an outright personal best. And, that was quick there, but we can say that she failed at that height and now carries 3 failures overall.
Well, we're flicking around, aren't we? We are going wherever the action is. And you can understand, with the home favourites performing so well in the 500 metres, as she's getting closer and closer to the final kilometre of this race, why we're hanging with Clara Lukan, who is moving along very well indeed. Such a warm day. You wouldn't expect her to get anywhere close to the personal best that she set in June in Vienna. That's 14:56.5, and well, she's ranked 11th in Europe this year, and an athlete who has a very exciting future ahead of her, you have to say. Well into the closing stages, less than a kilometre to go. 800 metres now for Clara Lukan. Just 2 laps left. It has been her against the clock for this whole time. The 24-year-old, who for a number of years now has been running with such maturity. Gold medalist at the European Under-20 Championships, stepping up and claiming a silver at the Under-23s. 5th at the European Championships last year in Rome. And someone who you expect that we will see a lot more of, competing and pushing for medals at European Championships, indoor and out in the future. 2 medals already, or 2 twice finishing inside the top 3 at the European Team Championships at the 3rd division level. 2nd in the 5,000 metres at this level in 2023. And no doubt she will upgrade the position that she finishes in. And she comes towards the line. She won't hear the bell. How quickly can she get round this last lap? Not looking at personal best time for Clara Lukan today, but it has been a very dominant performance. Breaking Javelin Lent so early on. She was able to sit with her towards the halfway mark, and that's really when the gap started to open, and at no point did she look capable of closing it. 6 seconds the difference between the personal best of Van Lent and Clara Lukan. Lukan just able to deal with the conditions so much better. Here is the battle for 3rd as they come towards the bell. Back of 3 that's almost splitting off into 2. Carlino Light, Alabi Kablan fighting for 3rd spot, but no doubt who will be our winner. An expert performance from Clara Lukan. Across the line, 15:09.58 on home soil, roared all the way home. And a really solid performance all by herself in these conditions, which are so tough, and athletes have struggled in them, including Van Lent, who tried to match Clara Lukan all the way round. Van Lent across the line, 15 points go the way of Belgium. And a battle being won by the Austrian. Great turn of pace at the end. And it will be Austria who take 3rd. All the attention though on Clara Lukan. Ireland across the line in 4th. Looking for confirmation of those times behind Clara Lukan. And once again her time, her name read out over the tannoy. A great way to start to draw the programme to a close. Like Alex said, she'd have had this one bookmarked for quite a while. And it was never in doubt really, Alex, when you look at the class of Clara Lukan and being able to really compete and set the conditions, work with them rather than against them. She looked so comfortable all the way round. Yeah,
to start off with 3:02, I said they were on 15:10 pace, and yes, ended up 15:09. So very, very impressive. She was exactly aware of what she was doing throughout the race, and quite early on as well. That chasing group had to realise they were locked in their own battle, and that became splintered up late on. Clara Lukan, she got the job done. There would have been a bit of pressure on her, I'm sure, to deliver this, but she didn't look phased at any stage.
Confirmation now of the results in the women's 5,000 metres. So big points going the way of Slovenia.
Hello, I'm Leonardo Fabri, and you must subscribe to the European Athletics channel, because otherwise I'm gonna fight you.